So, welcome everybody. Um, I love Howard Zinn's quote that I used today because without hope, what do we have, right? So he says, in to be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic, he reminds us. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. And what we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. And if we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. And often, on many days, it feels like that's all we can see. They feel fairly dark. Um, but Dan Harris also talks about what's going to make us most effective in these divisive times. And he points out that while anger and hatred, they're both very, very energizing emotions, may get you off the couch, these emotions will eventually burn you out and they will degrade your peripheral vision. And by contrast, compassion for yourself, for the vulnerable, and even for your enemies, if I do say so, is a cleaner burning fuel. And it sustains us through the inevitable ups and downs. And compassion actually improves our peripheral vision. And so it's really important that we remember that we have choice in what we emphasize and what we take in, what we look at. And it's not to ignore what's going on, not at all, but it's really to be very clear about how much we can take in without degrading our own energy. And so I want to talk about self-compassion, and then next week we'll talk about compassion. But self-compassion is just like the other resources that we've been talking about over the last number of weeks. It's a really energizing resource. And Kristen Neff is a self-compassion researcher, and she says that self-compassion has three components. The first is self-kindness versus self-judgment. We're often very, very good at judging ourselves, right? But self-compassion entails being very warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, or when we fail at something, God forbid, or we feel inadequate. But we don't ignore our pain or really get down on ourselves with self-criticism. Self-compassionate people recognize that being imperfect, we're all human, failing, we're all human, and experiencing life difficulties is inevitable. So they tend to be more gentle with themselves when confronted with painful experiences rather than getting really, really angry when life fails or falls short or of whatever our ideal might be. And so we as people cannot always be or get exactly what we want. And when this reality is denied or we fight against it, suffering increases in the form of stress, in the form of frustration or self-criticism. And when this reality is accepted with sympathy and kindness, then we experience greater emotional stability. And so the other element of self-compassion is to understand that we are all human. So common humanity versus isolation. Oftentimes we suffer because we think we're the only person that makes mistakes, and that's not the case at all. The very definition of being human means that one is mortal, one is vulnerable, and one is imperfect. And therefore, self-compassion involves recognizing that suffering and that personal inadequacy are just part of the package of the shared human experience, something that we all go through rather than being something that happens to me alone. And so this being human is not easy. The Zorba the Greek called it the first catastrophe, and Jon Kabat-Zinn's book about the mindfulness-based stress reduction course that he developed the curriculum for is called Full Catastrophe Living. And that's what life can feel like in many instances. And so mindfulness is also an element of self-compassion. We have to notice that we're suffering so that we can take a balanced approach to our feelings, so that we don't suppress them and we don't exaggerate them. And this equilibrium stems from the process of relating personal experiences to those of others who are also suffering, thus putting our own situation into a larger perspective. So, whatever is creating our own suffering, we can be assured that others are experiencing the same. And then our mindfulness also allows us the willingness to observe our thoughts, the negative thoughts in particular, and the emotions with openness and with clarity so that they're really held in awareness. Thoughts are mental formations. They arise and we can see them, we can acknowledge them, and then we can let them go. So, having this receptive mind state where we observe thoughts and feelings without trying to suppress them or deny them also offers us that balance. It's not ignoring our pain, but rather feeling compassion for it at the same time. And then our mindfulness also requires that we do not over identify with our thoughts and our feelings so that we kind of get caught up and swept away by the negative reactivity. So, in a nutshell, self compassion means recognize when we're under stress, when we're suffering, and then to respond with care and with kindness, kind of the way we would a friend. What would you tell a friend if they were really suffering? You would say something kind in all likelihood. And so, how can we transfer that kindness that we would reserve for a friend to our own selves? So, we're going to do a loving kindness meditation for our own selves. And for those of you who are not familiar with loving kindness, I just want to turn my Outlook off so it doesn't ding. So those of you who are not familiar with loving kindness, it's actually an ancient meditation. For some people, and if you're hearing it for the first time, it kind of feels a little bit new agey, but it isn't at all. It's an ancient practice. And it's also called metta in Pali, where it originated. And the practice actually involves directing feelings of love and kindness toward ourselves and then outward towards others. But today we're going to really focus on our own selves because when we can feel compassion and kindness towards our own selves, when we really practice it, becomes more available and we can more readily treat others with compassion. And so loving kindness can be especially helpful in cultivating compassion and understanding towards oneself. It's a vital aspect when we are really dealing with difficult emotions or memories for that matter. And this form of meditation also helps to break down the barriers that self-criticism and our negative self-perception can really put in place. These are often heightened during episodes of difficulty or when we're emotionally activated or during flashbacks. So during the meditation, we repeatedly affirm positive wishes for ourselves and for others. And repeatedly doing this helps us to internalize these sentiments so that they become part of our own self. And we'll get into that more next week when we get into loving kindness for others. But today we're going to do it for ourselves. And so this will help us to establish a more compassionate and a more loving, forgiving outlook towards ourselves. So, and it's been said that actually loving kindness is really effective for those that struggle with feelings of guilt or of anger or resentment, as it nurtures a sense of universal love and interconnectedness. And we know that that's all really, really important to really living as a full human being. So, as I said, loving kindness meditation for ourselves is a very powerful way to deepen our inner strength. And it allows us to grow self-respect, which in turn allows us to draw boundaries and to respond to unfair treatment and to join with others in a sense of common good, sense of common cause. This is what Sharon Salzberg says, who is considered kind of the mother of loving kindness. She grew up in a very difficult way, feeling quite unloved. And this is what really brought her to her own sense of acceptance of herself and for being able to love herself just as she is. And so we all deserve that. And certainly, we all work in a healthcare profession in some capacity. And as such, we want all beings to be safe, to be happy and free, and to be able to take, at their core, to be able to take action so that we don't feel diminished or we don't feel unworthy. And so I will guide you through this meditation. And so when we meditate, for those of you who are not familiar with it, we just sit. And you can sit, you can stand. If you've been sitting all morning and you prefer to stand, then that's perfectly acceptable. Or you may prefer to lie down, but you want whatever position it is to be comfortable for yourself. And as an act of self-kindness and self-compassion for yourself, really checking with yourself to say, what is the best posture for me right now? Do I need to stand? Do I need to lie down? What's best for me? So, whatever it is, like I said, it's a posture that's alert, but it's a posture that you can relax into. And so, I will be talking like you're sitting, but just sit comfortably and just feel the body sitting. If you can, allowing the thoughts that might be kind of rumbling around in the mind, just letting go of them and bringing attention and awareness into the posture your body has taken. And your posture can be thought of kind of as a frame around a painting. So, what is this frame around the painting telling you? How is it feeling? And then notice how your body touches so many other surfaces. Your feet touch the floor if you're sitting, and the floor touches the earth eventually. And Mother Earth has compassion for all beings. She holds all beings indiscriminately. Notice what your body is touching that's supporting you in this moment. The backs of your legs, your buttocks, perhaps your back, all touching that support, bringing awareness right into that touch point. So we're kind of directing our awareness like a flashlight. And now bringing that awareness to your arms and allowing them to soften as they become heavy against your body. And the same with your hands, allowing them to soften, to relax. All, all the way up to the crown of your head. Just doing a very quick body scan, moving from the crown of your head downward. And as I name each part of the body, just allowing it to soften. So the scalp, the forehead, the space between your eyebrows, softening, relaxing. Muscles around your eyes, your cheeks. Inside the mouth, the tongue softens. The jaw releases and softens. The neck, the shoulders soften and droop a little lower. The arms and the hands, the trunk of the body, the chest, the upper back. Letting the muscles that support the bony structure just relax in this moment. the belly, the lower back, the whole of the pelvic floor relaxing against the chair, resting into the support, the legs, upper, lower, and finally the feet relaxing into the earth. So we're bringing this kindness, this compassion into the body as it relaxes. And just seeing if you can soften emotionally, just welcoming whatever emotions might be kind of rolling around, letting them be, naming them, inviting them in as the guest house advises. Rumi in the guest house advises. Invite them in laughing. They're here. Let them be. Feel them in your body. Let the thoughts just soften. Let go. And now feeling the breath in your body. Noticing where it's most apparent to you. Perhaps feeling it at the nostrils as it enters your body. Moves down through the windpipe into the chest. The chest expands. See if you can soften your belly to allow the belly to expand as well. In this way, we can take in more breath into our lungs, greater amount of oxygen. And then in the exhale, let the breath go really slowly, even letting it go through your lips, letting it go very, very slowly as the body continues to relax. Let go. Release. Taking a full deep breath inward whenever you're ready. And then releasing again slowly. Letting go. Taking a full deep breath again. Belly swells. And then letting go. The belly comes back towards the spine. The breath leaves the body, preparing for the next inhale. And in this meditation, we're going to begin by actively taking delight in our own goodness. Think of a good quality that's alive within you. It could be a very small thing, but just bring it to mind. And we do this not to be egotistical or brag, but rather to bring our attention to the goodness that is within each of us. And then we bring attention to phrases or wishes that we wish most deeply for ourselves and for others, not just for today, but every single day in a really enduring way. These are wishes that we would wish for all beings, no matter where. And I'm going to use traditional phrases, but use words that resonate with you, kind of along the same vein, but words that resonate with you. And I'll say the wish, and you can repeat it silently to yourself. And when you notice that you've jumped on a thought train and you're off someplace in oblivion, just simply notice and very kindly bring your mind back to where we are. But again, this is an act of kindness and self-compassion. When we notice, we just return. May I live in safety. May I be safe. May I have mental happiness, which is peace and joy. May I have physical happiness, which means good health and freedom from pain. May I live with ease, which is wishing that the elements of daily life, like work, like family, like relationships, go easily and not be a struggle. And so you can repeat these phrases, I will guide you, or anything that's personally meaningful to you. And as you say these phrases, imagine that you're planting a seed in the ground. And each time you say the phrase, you're watering that seed. You're nourishing that seed. May I be safe. May I have mental happiness. May I have physical happiness. May I live with ease. Just finding a rhythm that's pleasing to you with enough space and enough silence so that the phrases emerge right from your heart. And sometimes people will even put their hands over their heart. May I be safe. May I have mental happiness. May I have physical happiness. May I live with ease. And now, if it's comfortable for you, visualize yourself sitting in the center of a circle. And the circle is made up of the most loving beings you have ever encountered. You may not have met them. They may be historical figures or mythical figures. It's a circle of loving energy. And you are in the center. And you can experience what it's like to be in the center of that quality of caring as you gently stay in touch and repeat the phrases of loving kindness for yourself. May I be safe. May I have mental happiness, peace, and joy. May I have physical happiness, freedom from pain, good health. May my life be filled with ease. Feeling the love that's coming from these loving figures, you may feel joyous or grateful, or you may feel like you would like them to offer loving kindness to each other rather than yourself. Whatever emotion is arising, allow it to be there. Let it come. Feel it in your body. Let it pass as if it were washing through you. The touchstone is the repetition of the phrases, may I be safe. May I have mental happiness. May I have physical happiness. May I live with ease. The Buddha said that we can search the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of our own love and affection than we are ourselves, and we won't find that person anywhere. We ourselves deserve our own love, our own affection. And so as you receive this energy coming towards you, be in touch with that truth. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be safe, just as all beings do. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I have physical happiness, and may I live with ease. And to close, just let go of the visualization, allow the circle to dissolve, knowing that you can always come back to this feeling, this circle of loving energy. And for all the time that we often spend judging ourselves and putting ourselves down, we're really recapturing that energy, that force. And so let it fill your body. Allow it to fill your whole being. Just feeling that loving energy that we ourselves can provide for ourselves. We are so worth it, just as the Buddha said. And so returning to the breath, as you pay attention to whatever effect this meditation may have had on you, and as you notice it throughout your day, notice what feelings you're cultivating for the rest of the day. And see if you can turn to these feelings of loving kindness. And you will see how developing this greater self-respect and loving kindness towards ourselves is a doorway to deepening our own strength so that we can have the energy and the strength to care for others and to care for our world. So taking a few more breaths. I'm going to ring the bell to end the meditation and just allow the sound to come to your ears, following it until it dissolves. So stretching, putting a smile on your face before you open your eyes if you like.